So what we have is a lot of optimization issues. We have performance drops, we have lag, stuttering, crashing, pretty much everything when it comes to Elden Ring. So in this video, we're going to talk about a couple of different things. Number one is the 10 out of 10 reviews. Number two is going to be fixes. They're not solid 100% fixes, they're more like workarounds. The developers are working on patches to sort these issues out, but what I'm going to do to make everything easier is if there's an important part of the video like the fixes, then the reviews and things like that, I'm going to put chapters so that you guys know exactly where to navigate in this video to find out what you are looking for. So before we get any further into the video, if you're not currently subbed to the channel, make sure you do sub, turn notifications on. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like, all support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to support me further as a creator, then check out the links in the description, and let's get into it. 10 out of 10 reviews, starting this one off. As soon as you see a game being given 10s across the board, you know there is going to be issues within that game. Every single game nowadays is going to launch with some problems. Some way bigger than others, but there are still going to be problems within that game. That is what a lot of early reviewers will not point out, whether that's because they're sponsored, or because they've been given the game early for free so they can boost their potential views and everything, so they never point out those issues. It gets put down as misleading. You will eventually, if there is enough backlash, get some things to change. Like with Cyberpunk 2077, you had people going back like 8-9 months later, changing their reviews, unlisting them on YouTube, because so many people said, look, you've misleaded me, or you've misled me. I've purchased this game based on your reviews rating it highly, and I'm having lots and lots of issues. I pretty much can't play the game. And that is exactly what's happening with Elden Ring. There are 10s across the board, and a 10 means it's perfect. So if you're rating it a 10, and you're pointing out problems, you've lost credibility instantly, because you've gave it a 10, or you've given it a 10. That means it's perfect. So even though pointing out the issues is appreciated, you've misled people by rating it with the perfect score. If you have given it under or even given it a 10 and haven't pointed out the problems, in my opinion, you're just a dickhead. But 9 times out of 10, these reviewers are not going to go back and change anything. They will just ignore it because they've had all their attention and everything, and they won't say another word about it. If you look at the reviews on Steam for Elden Ring, they are sitting at around 62%. The majority of the negative ones are about poor optimization. The one and only reviewer I have seen change their mind to not mislead people, so shout out to this YouTuber, that is ACG. I'm going to put a picture on screen now of ACG's tweet, and this tweet says, at this time I am removing the buy rating from Elden Ring and changing to wait for sale. After extensive testing, the new patch performance is unacceptable compared to what I had. You can see my videos if you want to know more, changing the title of the review as well. So that's another topic entirely, which I won't cover in depth, but one thing is, when people base their purchase off an early review, typically nowadays there is going to be a day one patch, and that day one patch can either be fantastic or completely destroy it. And because ACG has said this, there's a lot more trust in ACG as someone that's not going to mislead you. That would mean that the review build people got early was much more stable than after the day one patch, and the final build that people are actually purchasing. So whatever's happened, the updated patch hasn't gone through enough testing, and it's absolutely fucking unacceptable for Elden Ring to be released in this state. They should have done maybe a day 7 patch or something like that. It shouldn't have been day 1, because they clearly haven't had enough time to test it thoroughly and make sure it's working. This game is absolutely fantastic. Based on my first 5 hours, so still first impressions, not a review, I would give it maybe an 8. But I'm playing on the Xbox Series X. I'm playing on performance mode, so I go for a stable 60 FPS rather than quality. And I'm having absolutely no problems. Besides, I cannot connect to the online services at all, so I'm forced to play the game in the offline mode. But that can be used in a positive light, and you can take that as a tip, because if you don't want PvP players to invade you, because that's a feature you can't turn off, disconnect your internet from your console or your PC or whatever, and play the game in the offline mode. So when it comes to these reviews and stuff, again, I would just ignore them, watch a gameplay stream or something like that, and I would build up your opinion that way. Because clearly a lot of media and YouTubers, streamers, whatever, content creators, they have misled people by not pointing out issues. The Red Bull event, there was a lot of frame drops in gameplay that I saw before the game come out. And apparently that's just because of the way it was being streamed. Then you had people playing it and saying it's absolutely perfect, so they got their early reviews out. But then because they played it early, they haven't put any time into the final public build. Their reviews don't have any credibility because they haven't played what other people are going to be playing. And this comes from a lot of people talking about the game. I'm not just basing it off my experience. I haven't played it on PC. I've just seen so many people talking about it. But this comes from a lot of the reviews on Steam. I've had someone personally reach out to me on Twitter talking about it. I've had comments galore. People just talking about the game crashing and there's FPS issues and all sorts of things like that. But now we're going to transition over to like workarounds / fixes. There has been reports of frames per second or FPS problems on the PS5 version of the game, and it has actually started to get people to play the PS4 version of the game on the PS5, because that one is much more stable. The developers are aware of all of this, and they will be getting out patches, but if you want to try and fix your PS5 issues with frame rates, try playing the PS4 version of the game. And it's going to be the same for the Xbox. If you can download an Xbox One version of the game on your Series X, try playing it that way. I'm not 100% sure if you can do that, but if you can, give it a try. If not, and you're playing on the quality mode, or whatever they call it, where it basically focuses on the resolution, the graphics and all that stuff, switch over to the performance mode where it focuses on your frame rate. I have been playing for about 5 hours on that mode and I've not come across any frame drops. And then another thing, at least on the PlayStation, I don't know if this is happening on Xbox, but if your console is in rest mode, when you go sit down at sites of grace and things like that, it can crash, and it does it quite often. I was linked to an article. The developers themselves have said, if this is happening, they advise you to keep exiting the game on a regular basis to fix the problem. That is another thing that's unacceptable, but it's acceptable at the same time, or it's appreciated at the same time, should I say. So basically, having an issue like that where your console's in rest mode and it's just constantly crashing, that is a load of bollocks. That should have been ironed out before the game was released. But at the same time, it's appreciated because they've given you a temporary workaround until they get a solid fix out for it. So if your console is crashing quite often, basically just keep quitting out of the game on a regular basis. You can do this pretty much anywhere. I believe the game saves every couple of seconds. But anywhere you are, just every now and then, make sure you quit out of the game. It's going to be tough because you're going to have to try and figure out the regular patterns of when it does start crashing. But jump out of the game, jump back into your saved game, and that's the automatic saves because you can't manually save the game unless you are quitting out of it. So quit out, jump back in. It might actually stop the game crashing or lower the amount of crashes you experience, but it's also going to keep your game save intact. And then if you are playing on the PC, if you are looking to fix the lag or the stuttering, the frame drops, all that bad stuff with the performance, there are a few different things you can do to try and improve how this game runs. I'm going to pop images up on screen as I talk about it. And starting this one off, if you go to the search bar, if you've got it activated on your taskbar at the bottom of your screen or wherever it is on your PC, go to your search bar. You're going to search graphics. It's going to pop up with a tab for your graphics settings. When you are in there, you're going to see towards the bottom, graphics performance preference. You'll have a drop-down menu, choose an app to set preference. It's going to say desktop app or whatever it says. Underneath, there's a button for browse. What you're going to do is you're going to browse through your folders. You're going to go to your Steam folder, Steam apps, common, Elden Ring, and then click on the game. You should see easy anti-cheat, movie, SD, Elden Ring, and then start protected game. There might be a few different files in there, but the exe, so the application you click on to launch the game, click on that, and then it's going to take you back to your graphics settings. And what you're going to do once you've clicked on that is go to the options, in your preference, set it to high performance. Next up, to try and counter the lag and the stuttering on PC, is if you go to Steam itself, you open up your Steam settings, you go to the in-game tab, At the very top it's going to say the Steam overlay, and you have these different checkboxes. Where it says enable the Steam overlay while in game, if that is checked, uncheck it. Then another one you can do is go to your NVIDIA control panel. So if you right click anywhere on your screen, go to the NVIDIA control panel. When you're in there under 3D settings, click on manage 3D settings. Then you're going to see shader cache size, and you're going to want to set that to unlimited. And then the final thing is go back to your search bar, type in edit power plan. Then once you've clicked on that, you're going to need to navigate backwards one of the tabs, and then where you have choose or customize a power plan, you're going to want to set this to balanced. With those different options and settings and stuff that you've just changed, that has seen huge FPS and performance increases. It's helped a lot of people out so far on Steam, so fingers crossed if you try it, it does make a big enough difference to where you're happy with your experience. But as I said, it's not a guarantee any of it to fix the game. It's just workarounds you can try until patches are released to sort out the optimization of Elden Ring. Again, if you've put out a 10 out of 10 review, or you've done anything like that, haven't pointed out the problems, you have no intention to change it, you're just an idiot. And you've lost loads and loads of credibility. It's bullshit misleading people. It shouldn't happen anywhere on the internet within gaming or anything at all. And it's not right to not be willing to make a change to stop people being misled, especially when there's money on the line. People are purchasing a product, they want a smooth experience, and that's exactly what they deserve. The game also deserves it. When it works, it's fantastic. As I said, I'm about 5 hours in. I haven't personally come across any issues besides not being able to connect to the online services. But that might just be due to the fact that they have a lot of people trying to connect to online. It might be an issue with the region I'm playing in or something, but they do have that offline option. So I'm completely ignoring that issue. It's irrelevant to me because I can just sit there and enjoy the game offline. If you were forced to be online at all times, this would be bollocks because I wouldn't be able to play the game. So that is my opinion on the reviews for Elden Ring. That is also some workarounds that I've managed to find through searching the internet and trying to help you guys out. That is going to wrap up the video. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. If you have any other problems, let me know. I'll do some research, try and find out if there are fixes and stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. I hope it helped you out and I hope you enjoyed it.